even goes down for the first time. Let's go to our next team, Chennai Super Kings champions. My favorite team in the IPL, as many of you know. And we do know that MS Dhoni doesn't like changing too much.
Yes.
And that's exactly what has happened here, because they only have 2 slots that they can take. Their squad is almost the same, only 2 slots. They've released Mark Wood and a couple of Indian uncapped players, and that leaves them with only 2 Indians. The overseas quota is exhausted. 8.4 crore for 2 Indians is actually a good purse to have if you want to splurge on somebody young.
Yeah.
Because CSK don't have that. So it's pretty much the same
listen,
team.
I mean, just to add to what you mentioned last year,
Yes.
during run orders, so their average age has gone up by 1 year.
Which I would be worried about, but clearly I shouldn't. But let's just look at that team. Dhoni, Raina, Faf du Plessis,
It's the
all
same
a
team.
year older. Of course, Faf du Plessis, yes. There aren't too many. They've kept Mitchell Santner. I'm very interested to see that, because he missed the last season with an injury. They've also kept David Willey, who they brought in as a replacement player. So they're both in that. At different times, Bravo, Watson were all revelations. Lungi and Gidi's part of the South African setup.
Yes.
He's in that team too. Harbhajan Singh, he's got another IPL in him, it looks like.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, I saw him and he's working hard. He's looking as fit as ever. But the other thing that you mentioned right at the top was a lot will depend on the Indian domestic and all the internationals who are not playing for the country, or the retired internationals. So if you look at that CSK team, there are a lot of those retired international quality players like Watson, Bravo. Willie is not a regular with the international side. Sam Billings is not a regular.
Also not regular, yeah.
So
Absolutely.
there are quite a few international players that they have.
I mean, even if from the Indian point of view, you got Murli Vijay, you got Ravindra Jadeja, who may not make the World Cup squad. You don't know what's happening there. Suresh Raina is not going to, you think, make the World Cup. So there are a lot of experienced Indian internationals too.
True. So I think that they're pretty much set.
Okay, well, let's move on then. Kings 11 Punjab, they are anything but set. They've got a new coach in Mike Hesson. They've let go of Brad Hodge. Virender Sehwag too has parted ways with the franchise. They've released quite a few players. Just looking at the list of released players for Punjab, out goes Aaron Finch. Again, Australia have made it clear that they won't have their players available throughout. Aksar Patel, who's the only player they retained before last year's auction. Mohit Sharma, again a mainstay for Kings 11 for the years. Yuvraj has gone back into the auction. Barinder Saran, Manoj Tiwari, some of the other noted Indian names that go out. And then if you're looking at who they've already traded, Marcus Stoinis has left. He's been another mainstay for Kings 11. And Mandeep Singh has come back. There's a huge salary cap available, 36 crore and a little more on top. And available slots are 11 Indians and 4 overseas. But they need to literally build a squad.
Yes, and I mean, looking at the number of players and the players that they've let go, it only seems to me that they're looking at a complete revamp of the side with a new coach coming in. But again, the key here is not going to be Mike Hesson, the head coach. I think the key would be the Indian assistant coaches or the Indian people who are there on that auction table, because they need to get their Indian players sorted there. I mean, you have Lokesh, you have Chris Gayle.
So let's go to that list. Let's go to the retained list. Ashwin, you would assume, would captain and be a key force to deciding what kind of team he wants with Mike Hesson. Rahul was a revelation in the IPL last year. Chris Gayle, they still invest in Chris Gayle. We thought they might, there might be a case to again think of Gayle as a year older, but he still merits some value. Andrew Ty has been good, and they've got Mayank, Ankit Rajput, Mujib, Karun Nair, David Miller. That's a decent bunch of players to retain. David Miller's been a perennial underachiever, though.
True. I think that the core group is there because Lokesh, Mayank, Andrew Tai, Mujib, Ankit, Ashwin himself. So you have your basic core, 6-7 of them, and then you have the 36.2 CR available in the cap, and if you look at the number of Indians and even overseas players